Appreciate that, Mr. Lawler. How are you doing today?
Chairman, it's an honor to see you.
Nice to see you as well. I want to get into the FY26 budget requests, and something specifically I want to ask. It includes $215 million for anti-terrorism assistance, $45 million for the terrorist interdiction program, the PISA system. And I just want you to walk us through, if you can, how the Bureau is ensuring that these funds deliver the measurable security benefits to the American people that are needed. Let's just start with that.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Thank you for your interest and for your support. These funds, we have gone through both through our annual review in the Counterterrorism Bureau to make sure that the resources that we're allocated match up to strategic priorities, through the broader assistance review that the administration had following the election, following January 20th, and then, of course, looking at the world as it is, a major focus that we have, three geographic areas: Central Asia, because of ISIS Khorasan; the Middle East, because of Iran and its proxies; and then West Africa, because of the incidence of terrorist attacks in the Sahel. And those three areas geographically are the areas where we're allocating the bulk of our ATA assistance. But we also do have some other partners, such as the Philippines and elsewhere, that are facing their own threats and also happen to be in areas of
Let's touch on the partners a minute. All right. So if you're looking at the NATO, the foreign partners and how they're prioritized for the NATO programming, how do you determine which foreign partners are prioritized?
Well, first of all, it comes down to whether there's a threat to the United States from terrorist groups or terrorist activity in a given area or a given country. And then we, of course, measure up with the partner. We have, on a bilateral or a macro level, of course, we have to be able to work with a given government in a way that's accountable. And then we have vetting processes that, with respect to the implementer level, to make sure that what we're going to get is again something that will keep America safe and secure.
Outcomes are obviously something that we want to be measurable and that, guide the direction there, but maybe go a little bit more into, the security needs, the diplomatic factors, capacity to absorb assistance. Go into that a little bit if you can.
Sure. I'll give an example. ISIS Khorasan is a serious threat to not just the United States, but our partners in Central Asia and across Europe. Our partnership with Pakistan has yielded results. They returned the Abbey Gate bomber. They are partnering with us to confront ISIS Khorasan. And we do have, of course, some assistance from the CT Bureau, Counterterrorism Bureau, that fits into that broader strategy. That's one example. The coastal states the littoral states in Africa, Togo, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, north of those countries and in the northern parts of those countries, they are facing attacks or they are facing ISIS activity that is killing civilians on a very frequent basis. We've started programs there over the past few years. These are, I would say, the total outlay of those in those three countries is probably under $20 million a year. So I think we get a lot of mileage per dollar out of these programs, and we're able to ensure that ISIS and JNIM, which is an al-Qaeda affiliate, does not have the capacity to establish a safe haven in that part of the world.
So let's go into a little bit more into the where the resources are going. So for the Bureau's process, how do you determine which continents or regions, balancing the balance between going to sub-Saharan Africa or Central Asia? How do you conduct that balance?
Well, it's an interagency process. We work with the intelligence community. We work with our partners across the interagency, DoD, because they've got their own footprint in several of these countries. And we look at the cable reporting over the year from our embassies. And again, we do this in September as a general matter, but we can do it on an ad hoc basis if there's a particular event or a development. And through that process, we then, of course, all of this relates back to what the administration, President Trump's priorities are, which is to keep America safe and secure. So we're really focused on, do these groups or do these terrorist actors pose a direct threat to the homeland or a potential threat? and that we have to stay on top of. And so the outcomes there, where we come out, big focus on Central Asia. We've done more with Tajikistan, a country that borders China, Russia, and Afghanistan. So we've built some border security partnerships there. That's an example in Central Asia, of course, with Iran and its proxies. By the way, with Iran and its proxies, we had a delegation from my bureau in South America just a couple months ago, because the impact or the influence of Hamas, Hezbollah, the IRGC in South America has been pretty pernicious, and I would say, and one of our diplomatic results I was mentioning earlier, Paraguay designated the IRGC as a terrorist organization. All of this is underpinned by our diplomacy, and also, I believe, our assistance on security, our counterterrorism assistance with these partners.
So with CT assistance, let's talk about that. My time has expired, but I'm going to ask another question anyway. So tell me how CT leverages programmatic funding to encourage counterterrorism burden sharing and the broader foreign policy alignment.
I'll give you a great example. Northeast Syria, camps, displaced persons camps of family members of ISIS fighters. 3 years ago, the population was roughly 70,000. We have worked very hard, it's Counterterrorism Bureau in the lead, in the diplomacy of helping to repatriate, make sure that, as General Kurilla said, these camps pose a serious long-term threat of violent extremism, because the women, or the children in these camps, as they grow up, the risk of them being radicalized is very high. So we've taken steps to help them to be repatriated to Iraq, now within Syria, now that the Assad regime has fallen, and to Central Asia and other countries. The population of that camp, of those camps, is now about 30,000. We, the United States, in all of this, have outlaid about 85% of the costs of maintaining and operating those camps through an implementing partner. However, with the fall of Assad and with the new administration, we've been able to move forward with getting the United Nations to take its proper responsibility to move forward and take ownership or facilitate these camps. The cost will be much less, and I also have been engaging with our partners in France and Germany, the United Kingdom, on burden sharing, and I pointed out we've paid 85% of the cost so far. This threat is actually proximate to you relative to us, and we've gotten some good feedback here, because we make, under the president's leadership, we say if we share risk, we have to share burden. And that's an example where I think we're making a lot of improvement.
Very good. I appreciate the answer to all of my questions today. And in that, Mr. Lawler, I can't yield you back any time. I have none remaining.